How's it going, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Monday, May 20th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Good to be here with all of you, as usual. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment, say what's up, share this video with anyone you think would benefit from this information. Follow me on all of my social media platforms. The link to all my platforms are in the description of this video. And my reading sale, which is going to be going till June 21st for all of this amazing Taurus energy that we've been moving through. We just had the Sun-Jupiter conjunction over the weekend, which is phenomenal. And the Venus-Uranus conjunction at the same time. Mars is conjunct the North Node as we come into this week. Mars is moving to 15 degrees. We know exactly where we're headed, right? So Mars has really kind of set us off onto this new trajectory of this new path and this new territory. And we've been really going through a lot of healing with Chiron on the North Node, the Mercury retrograde that was going across the North Node, and now Mars just crossed that same point where these eclipses just happened. The last eclipse of where it happened with Mercury retrograde. We know exactly where the hell we're going. We know exactly what we want in life, what we don't want. The South Node in Libra, we know what we're not taking with us for sure. And now we have a whole new sense of direction, And I think as Mars, starts moving past this North Node more, we're going to start to see the karmic, destined, fated moments of, where we are headed and how events start to play out in our lives. And it's definitely connected to this Sun-Jupiter we just had, and the Jupiter-Uranus, and the Venus-Uranus we just had. And now Venus getting ready to conjunct Jupiter this week. Of like, okay, the direction that we are charging through and now moving towards our destiny, which is taking us to that true self that we've been really kind of stripping down, getting to the core, facing the wounds, facing our ego, and getting to that true identity of that true self that we truly are, so we can express it in its fullest potential. And now that Mars is crossed the North Node, it's like a launch pad, right? We are now launched coming into this week on this whole new destined karmic journey. So the synchronicities that we're going to be experiencing, especially through all these Jupiter transits with Uranus and Venus and Neptune sextiling Jupiter, which is going to be starting going into tomorrow. It's like our dreams and our visions and the destined karmic path that we are now moving towards. We're heading in that direction in a more confident way, and embodying our true selves in a much more real fucking way that we haven't been able to in a long time. When Chiron came into Aries in 2018, it's like, that's when we saw this mass identity crisis. Whether you get down to the gender or the sexual stuff and the identity stuff there, or the identity politics or the racial stuff that we see in the mundane world, but how that affects us all psychologically as individuals, and also realizing how maybe out of touch that we've gotten with that true self, that we have lost that in time, and maybe we give too much away. We've given too much away. Now we know exactly where we're going and what we want and what we're not going to do, who we're not taking with us, what we're not taking with us. We have a sense of knowing who the fuck we are more than we've ever had. And Mars is the last planet in Aries coming into contact with this North Node. It will meet with Chiron soon. So it's like taking action on actually doing the things that are healing and going to help you get to a more healed version of yourself. A more healed identity is where we need to be putting the energy, not getting too caught up in what everybody else is doing. Keep putting the focus on where you are supposed to go, right? It's not necessarily where we want to go right now. It's where you're supposed to go. And that's when, a planet comes into contact with the North Node. It's where you're supposed to be. It's where you're supposed to go, especially in Aries, in a cardinal sign. You're going one way. You're going forward, and that's the direction you're headed. So keep focusing on putting in the work towards healing that identity, healing that ego, facing that ego. And Mars is giving us the power and the gusto to really take that on head first, right? So I think what's interesting is this evening, the moon in Scorpio is going to square Pluto. So the moon is dispositing Pluto. And when I say that, it's like, the planet's ruling sign, when another planet or the sun or moon, which are luminaries, are in the ruling sign of a planet, that ruling planet is dispositing that planet or a luminary, right? So Pluto rules Scorpio. The moon is in Scorpio. So we would say Pluto is dispositing the moon, right? So our deep unconscious shit and our emotions, like there can be some things rising up within us today, like emotionally, that we have to really face and really look at, and we could be triggered by things, right? We can get some new insight into our own unconscious mind. Maybe the synchronicities that are starting to show through, that are connected to our ego, can trigger some unconscious things that we weren't aware of, right? Our interactions with relationships can trigger some unconscious shit, that's important to look at. It can be kind of painful, right? Because Scorpio also traditionally ruled by Mars. Mars is in Aries and it's ruler. So there's a lot of Pluto-Mars energy today. Fuck. So really it's just like getting down to the fucking nitty gritty, facing the dark shit and being willing to look at it, right? Because we're going through so many positive transits and we've been going through such benefic energy. There is some fucking real gut level shit that we got to dig into today. It's like digging deep, looking at our unconscious patterns, looking at our unconscious behavior, looking at how these unconscious patterns developed over time, right? And even down getting into the womb or past lives, right? I mean, when we're talking about Pluto, we're getting into that space of the unconscious, our childhood and how that shaped us, or being in the womb and what our parents were experiencing during the womb that affected us because we're connected to them, especially the mother, because we're talking about the moon, right? Secrets being revealed, hidden shit being revealed. When we're talking about Pluto or Scorpio, we're talking about hidden things kept in secret, right? We've been seeing this a lot in the world, and I'll just zoom out here because since Pluto's been retrograde, this is what I've noticed. When the moon was in Leo squared Pluto, we saw the Diddy shit start to really pop out, right? Right before the new moon in Taurus, the moon opposed Pluto, the whole Kendrick Drake thing happened, right? And Kendrick Lamar calling out Drake in his little diss rap, calling him out as a pedophile, which I fucking knew that already years ago when the whole thing about him hanging out with that little girl from fucking Stranger Things back in 2017, 2018. That all came out, but no one said anything, And now this moon in Scorpio coming to square Pluto, what did we see? The whole fucking Diddy thing, as this was building, it was damn, the whole Diddy thing came out in the past few days, the video on Friday, fucking when Mercury was squaring Pluto. It was holy shit, I take that back. When the new moon, let me rephrase what I fucking said. It's when the new moon in Taurus, before the new moon was squaring Pluto, and when the moon in Leo is opposing Pluto. Let me just be clear on that, because I know I just said that wrong. But still, every time these fixed signs get activated with Pluto in a tense angle, it's like more shit being revealed. And that was what I said. That was my prediction for Pluto going retrograde. We're going to start to see more shit revealed, more hidden shit, hidden secrets be revealed. And what we're seeing in the world is more in the celebrity culture, right? We're talking about Aquarius, Once Pluto gets back into Capricorn, we're going to start seeing that more on the political level. And it's the final time. So we can expect during that era, going to September, October, November, December, the final fucking showdown of the power grab, right? So as we see a lot of this tension building up and more secrets being revealed, it's opening up this whole new conscious awareness of us as individuals who are human beings of this earth, meaning Aquarius, the humanity, the collective of like us getting this awareness, and it's been a slow process over the past 5 years, right? 4 or 5 years of like waking the fuck up, of like really like, looking at the darker shit and be like, damn, like that wasn't just a fucking some crazy guy saying that's what's going on behind the scenes, us actually facing these things and being like, fuck, like, yeah, and it's helping us look at our own darkness, and looking at our own unconscious patterns and our own subconscious behaviors. Because before this moon comes into Scorpio, this moon will be in Libra and it'll quincunx Neptune. So this is definitely looking at, things that really kind of trigger our emotions too, where it's like, fuck, like I deceived myself there. Fuck, I really lied to myself about that. I should have just been honest about that and looked at a situation in a much more honest way and not, made it out to be what I wanted it to be in my mind out of some fantasy or whatever, and it's like today is one of these days. It's like cracking through the illusion, looking at the subconscious patterns that, we get stuck in, or the deception and how we deceive ourselves, and looking at the unconscious shit that's a little darker and that we don't want to look at all the time. That's kind of what we're doing today, or what's coming up, and also like like we talked about a minute ago, it's like what it really comes down to is that Mars and Aries crossing this North Node and getting more on its way towards Chiron is that going through this process of healing, looking at our ego, looking at where things didn't really work out, or, the relationships that didn't work out. It's like there was a reason, and now that we're evolving and gaining more conscious awareness and being able to look at these things, because Neptune's at the 29th degree. So talk about illusions and deceptions, like being fucking dissolving and getting down to the truth of things. It's like, we still got a ways to go. We got one more final swing in Pluto and Capricorn. Neptune's going to be hanging out at 29 degrees Pisces for more than a year until we get to 2026, 27, around, it will reach Aries, but then, it'll be retrograding in and out Pisces and Aries. And then we'll have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries, which is fucking crazy. So, and talking about all that, there's a lot of stuff going on internally today, unconsciously, subconsciously, for sure. Amongst all that, we've been talking so much about all these amazing transits and how our lives are expanding and transforming and new exciting things. That's all happening on the surface. Underneath the surface, a lot of things can pop up today. So being able to look at those things and face it and look at the things that are uncomfortable, look at the darker shit, that's good, because it'll help us get more to the truth, to where we can be more open, and our prosperity and our abundance mindset can be more aligned with these transits that we've been going through that are so amazing and so positive. And the sun's coming into Gemini, so things can loosen up a little bit, right? When we're in Taurus season, things can get a little fixed, a little stiff and stubborn, which is good. It helps us stay on track and just stick with the program. But now it's like, okay, we could loosen up a little bit, try some new things, expand upon the expansion that we just went through, and that we're going to be going through. And Jupiter is going to come into Gemini here, right? So things can loosen up a little bit with the sun coming into Gemini. And here in the next day or so, the sun's going to trine over to Pluto. So Pluto can get some good energy here. Pluto's kind of been off on its own little fucking weird, creepy little I'm all alone territory. And every time it gets aspected by a fixed planet or moon, it's like, some deep shit we gotta face. So the sun will start to get some positive energy over to Pluto here. But today's important to just look at this shit. Look at the deeper shit. Start putting this healing into action. We've gotten the message. We know how we've gotten to this point. We know how and why things didn't really work out the way we projected it to, or a relationship, or something in that area with this south node. Like, we know. So actually putting that into action, putting, we even like having that mindset, making a plan, putting it into action. I said this when Mercury went direct. Having a plan, and now that Mars has crossed the North Node, put that plan into action. Okay, like a structure. It's important. Saturn is going to be slowing down here soon. It already is kind of starting to slow down. Neptune's starting to slow down as well. So, having a solid structure is not easy right now with Saturn and Pisces, but that's the lesson. Is that, we have to have a solid structure if we want to achieve our vision and achieve our dreams and our goals. We just had this Sun-Neptune sextile here. Now we're going to have this Jupiter-Neptune sextile, right? And this Neptune sextile the Sun-Jupiter conjunction. And Venus sextile Neptune. So our dreams and our physical manifestation are aligned. And it's going to be this way for the next week. And it's beautiful. Amazing things are starting to show up. And for some people, if wherever it's at in your chart, it may be a little different. I know for me, like these Taurus placements are activating my chart exactly. Right? This Venus-Uranus happened at the exact degree of my Venus. Or the Jupiter-Uranus happened at the exact degree of my Venus. The Sun-Jupiter happened on my ascendant. This Venus-Jupiter is happening on my ascendant. The physical manifestation is showing up. Wherever it's at for your chart, for some people, maybe this Neptune sextile, this Venus-Jupiter conjunction, or the Sun-Jupiter we just had, it's like at least being able to visualize all possibilities and like understand that there's not just one fixed way. It's like there's so many possibilities. There's not one way of going about it. As long as you're willing to visualize it, believe it, and have faith and put it in the physical work with Taurus. We're still here. The sun's in Gemini now, but we still have 4 planets in Taurus. And Jupiter and Venus will be moving into Gemini very soon. Mercury will activate where the Sun-Jupiter happened, where the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happened. So, we're going to be in this very prosperous phase for a minute. And when Mars gets there, we're going to be starting to actually get some action on all this very prosperous energy that's coming through. So today's an interesting day to really look at things on a deeper level. This moon coming into Scorpio and Pluto dispositing the moon. It's like, wow. Because we've been in such a very positive transit that we haven't had in a while. So it's like the frequency's been a little different. So we're still there, but also in two worlds. It's like, okay, we're still on the surface, really moving through these physical, amazing, beautiful Taurus transits. But this moon in Scorpio, the moon tomorrow will oppose Mercury. It will oppose Venus and Uranus, right? And then Jupiter. So it's like being able to look at what we just went through. That's kind of like being able to observe what we just went through and what we're going through. From a whole different lens. And the sun coming into Gemini, that's what it's about. Being able to look at things from both sides. Being neutral, not taking sides, gathering the facts, gathering the information, assessing your environment, right? So, I think too, with the sun getting ready to trine Pluto, looking at your environment and how you could really transform it, make a change in your environment. That could be fun, interesting, Let's see what the card is. You have the Justice card. So it is, when this moon's going to be in Libra today, so it is like bringing up a lot of I want to say, people are getting what they deserve right now, right? We see that in the mundane level. We talked about that with these Pluto transits and what's going on in the mundane world and what's being exposed. And yeah, justice is being served, and maybe you are the server of justice, and wielding that power, which is ultimately helping us bring balance to our lives, right? And that's what the South Node is helping us do, is clear out the baggage so we can find better balance in our lives, right? But also being afraid to really attack that, but in a diplomatic way. We want to be diplomatic about the more difficult things and finding solutions. That's what Uranus has been helping us do, is find unique, innovative solutions, to really make big, massive changes in our lives that can really revolutionize our lives and affect other people's lives. So this card's been coming up a lot lately, right? I think going through Gemini season, maintaining a more neutral mindset is going to be important as well, especially as Saturn goes retrograde, the Sun square Saturn, all that, not getting caught up in the illusion or the delusions or the fantasies of things, being realistic and practical, but also still maintaining the beautiful vision. And all this amazing Jupiter energy that we just went through and we're still going through is going to keep getting activated. And here going into July. So it's we're experiencing a lot of mutable energy now. Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces. Now the Sun's in Gemini. Jupiter's coming into Gemini this week. How fucking crazy is that? It's Jupiter just went retrograde, or Jupiter just went direct on New Year's Day. So Jupiter moves pretty quick. And that's the thing. It's a big planet. It's an outer planet. And sometimes you forget how fast Jupiter moves. And that reminds you, it's when the good times do show up, when the positive energy shows up, it's here and gone quicker than you really realize. So having gratitude for the moment and being present, I think is what's really key right now. That's what I felt over the weekend with this Sun-Jupiter energy. I felt a lot of gratitude. Despite the difficulty, because there's definitely difficult things coming up, to face. But still, having that mindset can help us find solutions that we didn't know were possible. And I can vouch for that myself. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for everybody being here. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, follow me on all of my social media platforms, which you can find the links to all of my social media in the description of this video, along with my reading sale, which the link to my booking website is also in the description of this video with all the other links to my platforms. So, hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I will see you all tomorrow. And I'm figuring out how to do sun signs. I know what I figured out or what I realized, because I appreciate everybody giving me their opinions and voting on what they want, because that's what I want to do. I want to deliver things for what people want, right? But I also am going to deliver what I know to be true to myself as well. And also true to my daily reality, because I do a lot of things. So I think I want to start out doing just one video with all the sun signs and do it weekly. This is what I realized. If I do it weekly, I need to do it in one video. If I do a monthly sun sign, I can do it in separate videos for each sign, which I think are both good ideas, but it would be nice to get into a routine and a flow of doing the sun signs weekly, which I think are more useful, and it helps us be more present. I think I prefer a weekly sun sign. I like when watching other astrologers and their weekly sun sign. Sometimes with the monthly ones, it's like, you're looking really far out, which is good, and that's also useful. Which I want to do more content like that too, more broader content or more in-depth astrology. Which, I've been taking a lot of notes and planning, and I think now is a good time to start executing all these things. And I really appreciate everybody's feedback. I've gotten a lot of feedback on what people like, what people want, so to being able to filter that to what, everyone likes and what I like as well, and finding a happy middle ground to start executing all that. So this week, expect that. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.